overturn the massive resistance to big government that has grown exponentially since Obama took office. During an interview with journalist Bob Woodward, who's a government spokesperson, the president said, "We can absorb a terrorist attack. We'll do everything we can to prevent it. But even in 9/11, even the biggest attack ever, we absorbed it and got stronger." I mean, the globalists got stronger out of staging it. However, the only thing that was made stronger by 9/11 was the federal government's power to harass, shake down, and spy on the American people, as was exemplified yet again recently when Pennsylvania's Office of Homeland Security was caught conducting surveillance on peaceful protest groups with the aid of the Israeli security company, who listed Second Amendment groups, amongst others, as terrorist. Given how both Bush and Clinton before him exploited terror attacks on U.S. soil to boost the flagging political agenda, we should be wary of Obama and his masters making good use of their own October surprise to counter record-low approval ratings for Congress. Remember, it was Pennsylvania, too, watching thousands of kids at home with the government-issued laptops. And then the court ruled, we can watch you at home without telling you. Now it's freedom. Well, I'll tell you, Pennsylvania's bad news. Doing it in Ohio, too. Given how both Bush and Clinton before him exploited terror attacks on U.S. soil to boost their flagging political agendas, we should be wary of Obama and his masters making good use of their own October surprise to counter record-low approval figures in Congress on the eve of midterm elections. Talk show hosts such as Michael Savage has long been warned of a Reichstag fire-like event would be concocted to reinvigorate support behind Obama, given that his advisors include such ruthless individuals as Rahm Emanuel, the knife-wielding son of former Israeli terrorist who was involved in the bombing of hotels, marketplaces, as well as other massacres that would be blamed on people, I should add. We will be naive to put anything past these people. Of course. Indeed, it was only 2 months ago that former Clinton advisor Robert Shapiro wrote in the Financial Times of London that the only thing that could save Obama's tenuous grip on power was a terror attack on the scale of Oklahoma City or 9/11. Let's read that quote. The bottom line here is that Americans don't believe in President Obama's leadership, said Shapiro, adding, he has to find some way between now and November of demonstrating that he is a leader who can command confidence. And short of a new 9/11 event or an Oklahoma City bombing, I can't think of how he could do that. Continuing, we don't have teleprompters here, so when I newsread, it's from the article. Shapiro was clearly communicating the necessity for a terror attack to be launched in order to give Obama the popularity to unite the country around his agenda in the name of fighting terrorists, and then complete all the government grab health care, all the police state, the naked body scanners. They got to get all that through. And while you're busy after a city gets nuked or planes fly into buildings, they'll be able to ram through, taking over the family farms, doing all this. Shapiro was clearly communicating the necessity for a terror attack to be launched in order to give Obama the opportunity to unite the country around his agenda in the name of fighting terrorists, just as President Bush did in the aftermath of 9/11, with his approval rating shot up from around 50 points to over 80. Similarly, Bill Clinton was able to extinguish an anti-incumbent rebellion, which was brewing in the mid-1990s, actually an anti-UN pro-states' rights movement, by exploiting the Oklahoma City bombing to demonize his political enemies as right-wing extremists. As Jack Cashill points out, Clinton descended on the Oklahoma City with an approval rating in the low 40s and left town with a rating above 50, and the Republican Revolution buried in the rubble, also led from within by Newt Gingrich. Only by exploiting a domestic terror attack, which can be blamed on right-wing radicals, or by rallying the country around another war in the Middle East, can Obama hope to reverse the tide of anti-incumbency candidates that threaten to drastically dilute the power monopoly of establishment candidates from both major political parties in Washington. Yeah, a lot of these new candidates are actually anti-New World Order, pro-states' rights, which is holy water to a vampire, or sunlight, high noon to a vampire. Shapiro is by no means the first to point out that terror attacks on U.S. soil, and indeed anywhere in the world, serve only to benefit those in positions of power. During the latter years of the Bush presidency, you see Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld mused with Pentagon top brass, we have links to all this, that shrinking Capitol Hill support for expanding the war on terror could be corrected with the aid of another terror attack. And Rumsfeld's like, let's not talk about, okay, I get you. Shh. Lieutenant Colonel Doug Delaney, chair of the War Studies program at the Royal Military College in Kingston, Ontario, told the Toronto Star in 2007 that the key to bolstering Western resolve is another terror attack like 9/11 or the London transit bombings of 2 years ago. The same sentiment was also explicitly expressed in a 2005 GOP memo, which yearned for new attacks that would, quote, validate the president, war on terror, and restore his image as a leader of the American people. In June of 2007, the chairman of the Arkansas Republican Party, Dennis Milligan, said that there needed to be more terror attacks on American soil for President Bush to begin to regain popular support in America. Using terror or the threat of terror as a political tool has been a routine ploy in recent years, as was acknowledged by former Homeland Security Chief Tom Ridge when he admitted he was forced to issue fake terror alerts shortly before elections to influence the outcome. See, you're supposed to forget all this. Admitted fake terror alerts that is a terrorist act itself under the Patriot Act. If I call up and issue a fake terror alert, it's criminal, and if the head of Homeland Security does it, it's criminal. Threatening terror has also been a tactic of some of Obama's biggest supporters in the Democratic Party, people like Senator Gary Hart, who in 2007 wrote a thinly veiled threat to Iranian leaders, pointing out that the U.S. had been involved in numerous staged provocations over the years to achieve political agendas, mentioning specifically the Gulf of Tonkin incident and the sinking of the Maine. Given the documented history of staged false flag events being used to manipulate both domestic and geopolitical affairs, added to the numerous threats of such provocations from several highly respected political operatives, it would be foolish to rule out the notion that the Obama administration may do it. We'll finish up when we come back.
Hi, this is Alex Jones. Did you know that the global elite are now storing non-hybrid seeds in secret storage vaults near the Arctic Circle? Did you know that in a real meltdown, non-hybrid seeds can become more valuable than silver or gold? It's true, seeds have outperformed even gold and silver before in this country, and it's possible that it could even happen again. So our friends at Solutions from Science have put together the perfect mix of non-hybrid seeds. They call it a survival seed bank, and it can produce an endless supply of nutrient-dense food for you and your family. And here's the best part. These seeds have not been genetically modified in any way, and you actually get enough seeds to plant a full-acre crisis garden. So visit them today at survivalseedbank.com. That's survivalseedbank.com, or give them a call at 877-327-0365. That's 877-327-0365. Remember, in a real crisis, non-hybrid seeds are the ultimate barter item. This is Alex Jones for survivalseedbank.com.
Is your computer running slowly? Thinking about buying a new one? Don't waste your money. Your computer could be infected with spyware, malware, viruses, registry errors, spam, and pop-ups. You don't need to buy a new computer. Just go to doublemyspeed.com and find out what's slowing your computer down.
Double My Speed totally cleaned up my system and increased my speed.
Doublemyspeed.com increased the speed of my computer from the very first day.
My computer was on its last leg. Now it's like new again.
Get your free diagnosis at doublemyspeed.com and keep your computer running fast. Your free diagnosis at doublemyspeed.com is easy and fast.
It's the best you could ask for. Outstanding, and my computer is running faster than ever.
Find out what is slowing down your computer with a free diagnosis at doublemyspeed.com. Don't waste your time with your slow computer. Get your free diagnosis now at doublemyspeed.com. That's doublemyspeed.com.
This may surprise you. Type 2 diabetes has reached epidemic proportions among both adults and children. You or someone you know may have it. Managing type 2 diabetes in conventional ways is a never-ending task. But this good news may also surprise you. A recent UCLA study proved that type 2 diabetes can be reversed in only 21 days. Purium Health Products recently developed a product that mimics the healthy diet used in that UCLA study, called Scoop of Greens, an easy, great-tasting, affordable way to give your body the nutritional tools to help it overcome type 2 diabetes. Scoop of Greens has been awarded the Diabetes Resource Center seal of approval, so you know it's safe. See Scoop of Greens and other world-class whole living foods and nutraceuticals at diabetichealthsolution.com. To order, call 888-747-6733. That's 888-747-6733. Mention GCN for a healthy discount and ask about the buy 3 get 1 free special. Start keeping type 2 diabetes in check at diabetichealthsolution.com.
You know, I babbled through that article, but I hope people realize how serious this is when you've got all these Republican and Democratic leaders saying we need terror attacks. And if you've been lied to about everything else, if the Pentagon would make a secret deal 11 years ago with Prudential and others to steal the death benefits of 6 million dead and dying veterans, They'll do anything. When are people going to grow up, and all the so-called conservatives who claim they're part of the Tea Party and want liberty, but you like the over $2 trillion total defense budget every year? Every time I say that, I get emails going, it's $1.1 trillion, not counting all the supplementals and black op funding. It's over $2 trillion. And this military at the leadership position does not speak for the United States. In Army manuals that have been leaked, they teach Army captains who are in special ops how to stage terror attacks, okay? It's that widespread. This is one of their tools. Hitler and Stalin weren't the only ones that did this. You know the government gets caught lying constantly. You know they've been caught staging terror attacks before. Why are you so naive? And, you know, Michael Savage will come out and says that he believes that Emmanuel or Obama will do it, but he doesn't talk about Bush. These people are puppets for the real power structure. The same power structure is in power now that was in power. And the article ends, finishing it, given the documented history of staged false flag events being used to manipulate both domestic and geopolitical affairs, added to the numerous threats of such provocations from several highly respected political operatives, it would be foolish to rule out the notion that the Obama administration could turn to such desperate measures in a last-gasp effort to salvage power and demonize its growing legions of political adversaries. And then the article has a giant bibliography where every statement we make is backed up. Please, please get this article, Will Obama Force America to Absorb a Terror Attack to Save His Presidency? Please get this out to everyone. And I'm going to ask listeners, we've been successful to get the #1 slot every time until last week. We did it 23 times. The 23rd time, we only got 3rd place in the Google rankings. And I don't want to do this all the time to where when we really need to do it, people don't respond. So if this doesn't hit #1 today, I'm going to really cut back on this key tool. But I don't want to cut back on this key tool. It needs to go to #1, search term, so that hundreds of thousands more conservatively will see this article. And I'm looking at the terms in this article. What should we use to make sure that it's a rare enough search term that it will lead back to our article? Let me think of the best 3-word term. Let's search the term save his presidency. Please search now. I'll do it during the break and do it over and over again. Send it to #1. This is such a powerful tool we've been using, and we failed last week. #3 was still good, and a lot of media picked up on it and wrote stories about it. But #1's what we need. Save his presidency. 3 words. Google search for September 22nd, 2010, Wednesday edition. Save his presidency. 3 words. Save his presidency. And then on the web and on the news search, it will be #1. Save his presidency. Please enter that into your search engine at google.com. 3 words. Save his presidency. And that will lead them to our article, Will Obama Force America to Absorb a Terror Attack to Save His Presidency? So we'll search the term, save his presidency. And if you want to do a secondary to throw it in there, we've done that a lot. Obama terror attack. Secondary search, Obama terror attack. Obama terror attack. Obama terror attack. We'll be right back.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Hi, folks. This is Alex Jones asking you for a minute of your time to tell you about soap. Not detergents, but good old-fashioned pure soap made by the Cal Ben Soap Company, a family-owned and operated American company. My family, staff, friends, and radio listeners are constantly telling me how much they love these products for bath, hair, laundry, and dishes. There is nothing like these factory-direct, big money-saving, triple-concentrated soaps anywhere. Get a free detailed catalog by calling 800-340-7091 or see them online at 5starsoap.com or Infowars.com. Let's talk to the owner of 5 Star Soap, Marty Schachter, and see what he has to say.
As founder and owner for over 63 years, people keep asking me, how's business? I'm